I'm Catherine Cho. When my son was 3 months old, I started seeing devils in his eyes. It was the beginning of my experience with postpartum psychosis. By the time my husband took me to the hospital, I was stripping off my clothes and attacking the nurses. I thought that I was a character in Dante's Inferno and that my life was a simulation. I was sectioned in a general psychiatric hospital where I spent 12 days away from my son. After psychosis, I would fall into a clinical depression, and it would be many months before I could hold my son without pain. I look back on those months and I recognize the darkness there, that feeling of hopelessness. I tried to find comfort in the stories of others, particularly from other women in action on postpartum psychosis. Postpartum psychosis is such a devastating event. Even with a happy ending like mine, there are lasting echoes. I eventually wrote a memoir about my experience called Inferno, which was published last year. I wanted to trace the roots of this experience, particularly as a Korean American living in London. I wanted to show that it's something that could happen to anyone. I found out I was pregnant with my second child, a daughter, a week before the first lockdown. I knew that I was at high risk of psychosis during the height of the pandemic, but I felt lucky. Because of my history, I was allowed to have my partner stay with me, and I had great support in keeping the experience as calm as possible, and so I have remained well. However, I know that for many mothers during this pandemic, having a baby has not been a calm experience, and the isolation and fear has been magnified. Women have battled illness and recovery without the support of wider families and communities, and essential frontline professionals have been redeployed, and services stretched to breaking point. It's why this report feels so necessary. These past few months, I have thought about what would have happened to me if I had had my psychosis during this lockdown. And I don't know what would have happened to me or to my baby. I'm so grateful to you who work in maternal mental health, in the NHS, in the third sector, in research, policymaking, and campaigning. Thank you for all that you do to protect the safety and well-being of new mothers and families. As a society, we must prioritize motherhood and fatherhood and services to support those who unexpectedly find themselves in the most challenging of circumstances. For me, every medical professional we met, every kind gesture, every kind word, I've never forgotten their care. I know that they saved my life. Thank you.